Hey everyone, welcome to the Backlash podcast. I'm Eric and this is
Scott.
And we're a bi-weekly raw deal podcast, still supported through the virtual sets that you can find on teamcanadaonline.net. It's 10 years now, I think, they've been supporting the game.
Yeah.
So Scott, how's your raw deal been lately?
It's been good. This week I built a new deck. I built NWO Hollywood that we spoke about on our last podcast. I had printed out some of the sheets that you made that were black and white sloppy and once is enough, so I was like, alright, put these black and white cards in my NWO deck. And then a few episodes back we were talking about how awful a card I thought You Will Witness History is. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to build NWO. They're built around all together now, so I'm like, I'm going to put You Will Witness History in there and I'm going to make it work and we'll see how it goes. I've only played it once, but...
It's funny with that card because we were naming off superstars. I had someone, our guest today actually, mentioned Wade Barrett is a great choice for it because he makes all of his non-foreign object strikes.
Yeah.
Chain maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that larger opening now for chain because you could still play him because his ability makes it that. And I've built him before and I enjoyed that superstar.
Yeah, I'll test it a few times with all together now. I don't know that it's needed because a lot of the NWO cards play for free or increase their capacity, so we'll see how it goes. I like the feel of it so far, mixing in a little bit of chain, a little bit of heat, and a little bit of volley. So we'll see how it goes. Playtesting, we did some playtesting for the upcoming FunkCon coming up. I played one NWO, the one game, and lost pretty badly, so I was like, alright, I always lose on my first game. I'm like, oh yeah, forgot this card, forgot that card, forgot that card, so I fixed that up. And then I played Drew McIntyre versus a Braun Strowman game, and I had Braun down to like one card, and I forget what I did that was bad. He played a kidney punch, and I could have volley traded it easily, but I didn't because I was like, oh, I have like quite a few reversals left, and like it went all the way through for 11 damage or something, and I was like, oh, that really sucks. And then he was able to like pick up some thrust kicks and just go to town. And I was like, that's
He gave you those feet instead of the hands.
Yeah, gave me those feet.
And it's funny, thrust kicks, because it's like I've been obsessed with that maneuver lately. Like it's with that blind side takedown, the virtual one that gives it a reduced cost.
-3, and then in this NWO deck you have the building a united front makes all your volley maneuvers -4 when you're at 0. So it's an 0 for 8. Kidney punch is an 0 for 8. So there's your volleys. You can have your heat zeros if you want them. You can have your quick snap to go with your flawless transition if you want that. And the back fist 0 for 8 volley as well. So you have quite a few options. And that's not even including the specifics, the Uncle Eric kick and Hogan's overhand punch, which are multis for 5. So they have quite a few options to get on the board. I'm pretty excited to test it out and see how it does.
And then they got, I'm thinking Wolfpack. Never mind that thought.
I think that's pretty well all the raw deal that I've been up to. What have you been building, playing?
I haven't been able to build anything. I'm just in this funk. Like I have moving coming up. Work's been really busy. I have Sheriff Austin sitting here about, half the sleeves are filled and I just don't know what to do. So I've just been making fantasy cards. I've been doing it with one of the users on Discord, a Christian Legend remake because, we need a Christian Legend remake. Edge got one, come on. So that's been a lot of fun showing you guys in our group chat, and you're like, what is this, an actual card? And I'm like, what do you think it is? Well, yeah, look how wordy it is.
It had 13 lines of text on the face card. I had a feeling it wasn't real, but it looked good. It looked sharp.
That's fun. That. So when we get that finalized, we'll share it on the message board on Team Canada Online.
Yeah, it's a fun little virtual card.
But it's like, it's tough because, I'm in this funk where you want to get competitive and everything, but naturally I don't gravitate to that.
We're not a very competitive group, so
where like I want to build like Kane Sheriff Austin to try to win off of his mid-match action where he wins when he has 6 enforcers revealed, a can of beer in the ring, and a trademark finisher.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and Virtual brought around quite a few trademark finishers, so you have lots of options.
I have 4 or 5 in the deck.
Yeah. That's like 2 specifics, dynamic, the finisher, there's what a maneuver.
Oh, old school pile driver.
Yeah, old school pile driver.
Concerto, but I'm not doing that.
No.
And he searches for a kick off that action, so here's thrust kick again.
Yeah. Yeah. Loving that card, dude.
But that's been me. I mean, I'm doing a lot of packing this weekend. We're recording late Friday night.
Yeah, we have a tournament on Monday.
Yeah.
So the day before the podcast comes out, we'll be doing the tournament. But
Yeah.
that's not doesn't give us enough time to edit it and.
No, but we'll
content
do
in.
something online. Like we'll have all the matches recorded, but maybe we'll sneak something out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
On social media. I guess speaking of social media, let's move on to around the web. Every Thursday we post Throwback Thursday images where we take a throwback card and compare it to an original card. We throw it on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all Backlash Pod. It seems to get a fair amount of attention, a lot of people engaging in the conversations, and you kind of get some ideas that you wouldn't normally think of. Like manager interferes is still a good point where one person is like, oh, you never want to have your opponent draw. And there are a lot of good counterpoints to the reasons why. I kind of actually want to print off some of those throwback managers in for the Sheriff Austin Kane deck that I'm building. Because it's like, oh, you can get real sneaky there.
Yeah. I really like the Throwback Thursday because especially the last 2 weeks, you've posted old versions of cards that I'm pretty sure I've never seen. The original Power Slam and the original No Way Out. Don't think I've ever seen those cards.
There were a surprising amount of people for the old No Way Out action too. Yeah. I was like, oh man, this is pretty
Well,
cool.
I mean, it was a card that was really awful. It was good when it first came out, I think. I'm speaking of, and then as the Backlash deck was introduced, it got a little weaker. Because I think it's like your opponent can't play reversals from hand or something. But now in virtual, it's so easy to get 25 Fortitude. So I could see people looking at that card again, and other cards like Eagle Maniacal, big Fortitude actions that most people are like, you know what, I'm never going to play this, to okay, I'm consistently getting 20 Fortitude in the game. Let's look at these big actions and see what they do and see how good they can be.
And like thrust knee lift is such a popular ringside reversal, a ringside removal. On the offensive, imagine a late game volley this for 25 your opponent needs to play to stop one of those actions where it's like, oh, okay, as long as it's not a multi-action, the only way they could stop it is like a sloppy, very sloppy, or a volley this. It's like, okay, do you want to remove a third of your deck from your ringside pile?
That was how that game ended with Braun and Drew. I had a few cards left. No, one card left. I played Simply the Best, and he had 9 cards in his ringside pile. So one extra card to volley it, and the volley pinned me. I was like, oh, that would have been glorious to wipe all his Fortitude away, and then maybe make a bit of a comeback. But yeah,
Comeback would have done that too.
Yeah, comeback. Except it's not 1 Fortitude, so I don't really like playing it in Drew McIntyre.
Do you grab the mics?
I do have one that I searched for off his pre-match card because it's great. Either that or Bear Hug. You convinced me to run Bear Hug in him, so
Bear Hug is such a good. You can get it off of For the Love of the Game, Dirty Low Blow.
Yeah.
It's a 5 damage chain.
And it's 1 Fortitude card. That's I think the most important part of it for Drew McIntyre is that forced lose a card in your hand, or 2 cards potentially.
Oh, and if they want to stop it, they get the random discard.
It's just a Bluetooth speaker turning off. We were prepping for our guest later coming on, so we'll just turn it on when we use it again.
Okay, so around the web, not a whole lot going on Team Canada Online, where they bring the virtual cards.
Lots of rule questions.
A lot of rule
That's kind of what keeps the forums going. Hey, how does this interact with that?
Man, it's a lot of activity. Someone pointed out on the Discord, there's 120 active users on TCO the other day. Yeah. Or they haven't seen that.
That was Josh. He'll appreciate the mention again.
Oh yeah. The other episode was a Josh episode. So Creed said that the holiday set. I don't know the exact wording. I don't have the quote in front of me, but it's going to be a 205 live holiday set. Austin Aries looks like he's going to be a shoo-in just so they can get him in the game, which, I mean, why wouldn't you want to?
I'm hoping they can squeeze in Buddy Murphy. He is, the best wrestler up there with, Miz and Seth Rollins that I, tune into every week to watch wrestling for. So I hope Buddy Murphy can squeeze in there.
I would love to see Pete Dunne in that set. I mean, it'd be a good reason to get, the UK Championship in the game.
Yeah.
Get him in. Not that he's on 205 live very actively, but it's a great way. Jack Gallagher, I think, could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's pretty gimmick based. Who else am I thinking
There's
of?
lots. Brian Kendrick.
Oh,
Lindsay Dorado.
Drew Gulak.
Yeah.
With his PowerPoint
Tony
presentations.
Nese, yeah. There's lots. 205 is really good since Triple H has taken over. Since Mania, that's the show that I watch every week.
Actually, yeah, now that we've talking about it, I'm a little less down on it. Cause it's like 205 Live. Like,
a year ago, I would have been exactly the same. 205 Live. But no, watch the show, guys. If you're a wrestling fan, watch 205 Live.
Yeah, Brian Kendrick.
They have storylines now. It's so good.
Might get Alicia Fox in this. Oh, as a manager. Oh, you know what? Because I think Creed would be all over that one.
Does he like Alicia?
No, he can't stand her.
Okay.
There's a whole thing about that. Try to be unbiased to the game. Yeah. However,
I hate Alicia Fox.
The only other, there's been no other Virtual 9 news. We're not even in summer yet, and it's usually an autumn set. But most of the superstars are announced, and guys that are getting support. Revisions should be coming up soon. We're halfway through May. Yeah. So we'll see what superstars kind of get changed. I know last year it was like 5-6 superstars got changed up.
Yeah, there were 5 or 6 that got like a total overhaul, and then there was the 3 Shields that got big boosts to kind of update their gimmick. And then
the revisions saw updates like Sheriff Austin, Mick Foley, Rick Rude,
right? Yeah, I'm thinking
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But then those guys got great new cards.
Yeah,
and then the Shield guys got all like 4 cards individually, and then the team got 2 cards, and that was a wild year last year because they released Virtual 8. Well, Virtual 8 was split into like a month apart. And you want to talk about the next one? Sure.
The WWZ podcast. It might be WWZ, but in Canada we pronounce it Z, so we're going to call you guys...
It looks like a Z to
me. The WWZ podcast. Josh and Seffi started their podcast, which is great. More content for the Raw Deal community. Mm-hmm. I like it because it gives me something to listen to that isn't myself and yourself. Not that I don't like us, but it's someone else's perspective on Raw Deal, which I really enjoy. I read Josh's post somewhere that he was talking about starting a podcast, and he's like, isn't podcast just audio? And I remember back when we started, I was kind of the same way. I was like, you want to do a podcast, but isn't podcast like just audio? Like, I only listen to audio. I don't watch YouTube videos or anything. And you're like, no, we can do YouTube, and we can have card images and make everything pop up. And I was like, okay, I can see that working out. And I still listen to audio. So if the WWZ guys can get audio podcast, I'll definitely listen to it. I just have a hard time like tuning into an hour video content. But you can break it down to segments too, right?
Well, what I did is I had it playing on my phone, and doing dishes, making dinner, looking at cards. I just had it in my pocket.
Yeah, that's right.
And just make sure that you don't touch the screen because YouTube has to be playing. I enjoyed it as well. They had some good looks on things. I liked their breakdown of all the reversals. Kind of the essential reversals you want to run in decks. Yeah. So good. More content's good for the game. It makes a healthier game.
Exactly.
It brings the spotlight on it more. We could bring in more new players and returning players. So keep it going, guys. WWZ team.
Alrighty. So are we ready for our guest, our interview, our subject of the show?
All right. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of our subject.
Our speaker's on.
Hold on. All right. Caller, you're now on the air.
Hi, and I'm so glad this worked on the first try.
Yeah.
Me too.
Wow, perfectly. So, let you introduce yourself. I'm going to say this is Team Canada Online user, Lackey tournament organizer. Those always 100% everyone plays Lackey events. This is Crasher, also known as Scott Mackey. Scott, how are you?
I'm fine. Yeah, every time you mention the Lackey thing, I cringe about thinking of the 4 people that disappear every week.
Well, I was looking up the Lackey statistics, and this is actually tied with the most people entering a Lackey event. Too bad it's all bad superstars.
Well, I thought that was kind of the appeal of it. For a while we just did whatever, but the whole idea of gimmicking it up a little seemed kind of good, and this just kind of steamrolled from a Discord conversation.
Yeah.
And then it got bad. Was I'm gonna tell him my favorite superstar is bad, so we'll put him in the tournament. They're like, no, I'm not an idiot. Just play Triple H, deal with it.
Yeah, I got the Usos, and I haven't had a chance. Killer Cactus and I are going to get our game in the morning, and I'm expecting we're going to try to beat your record for a 2-turn loss, and I'm going to try to lose in turn 1.
Well, it only counts as a true 2-turn win if you backslide them.
Oh no! I'm looking to get backslid turn 1. Like I'm not gonna backlash or cow as like third maneuver. It's like no, you're just gonna get pit.
I told my girlfriend about that, and all she knows is Super Show because she'll play that, and she's like, "You can't win in 2 turns in Super Show. How is that possible?"
Scott, I'll refer to you as Crasher because I got Scott right beside me.
You can do Mackie too. I'm used to that one now.
Okay, Mackie. Like when did you get into the game? You know what drew you into Raw Deal?
I don't remember the set, but I remember the Superstar because Brian and his girlfriend at the time walked in the house and threw a Booker T deck in front of me because they knew I liked Booker T. And my first words when I looked at him is, this ain't like magic or anything, right? Because I still have this horrible vision in my head when we went to a convention and saw a bunch of full-grown adults dressed up as Klingons playing Magic in Klingon. And I couldn't get past that scarring moment. And then once they swore to me it was nothing like magic, I was like, okay. And we started playing it. And we, like everybody else, we had our own screw-ups. Like when we'd overturn an elbow, we had the person take 2 damage.
Yeah. It's a learning part of the game.
Did you lose me there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, okay, I heard a fade out. So yeah, you overturn the elbow, and it's like, oh look, it's an elbow. It's 2 damage. You're supposed to take 2 damage. Like, really?
Yeah, those early days.
Could you imagine if we had learned back when Power Slam Throwback was a thing?
This game sucks.
It's terrible! I told to take 10 damage. What the hell is this?
And then, like from there, like when did you when did you really find that okay, this is the game for me? You started doing well in tournaments, or maybe you haven't done well in tournaments, but you're like, okay, I have a grasp of the game.
I grew to like the game from that point. I don't know if me being good at it helped it or not. I just like the concept.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes more sense. And I get crap for that for Indianapolis. They're like, you don't go out there to play to win? And I'm like, no, it's my vacation. I want to enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can play the same decks with the same 6 moves in as everything else. Sure, I could do that, but I'd be bored with it. I want to have fun while I'm out here.
Yeah. And we were talking about that earlier in our podcast, how Eric's kind of having a little bit of a deck building funk because we're looking at building a little more competitive decks because we're going down to FunkCon, but at the same time, like, we're just so casual players, so we're just used to playing casual decks, right? So
there is a weird balance in bringing something that's going to be good but still enjoyable.
Yeah.
But it's going to go 0-4 every time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different with your guys' thing because as opposed to, I'm not trying to compare this to, I'm not one of those people that's like, Gen Con good, this thing bad. But the difference is Gen Con has a whole ton of events.
Yeah.
So you can bring some fun for the Thursday and the Friday.
Yeah.
And then bring a good thing for the Saturday.
Yeah.
You guys have that option because it's one and done. It's just one event.
Yeah. Except Friday night we plan to play a bunch of games and drink a lot of beer, so we'll get our fun games in then, right?
But I mean, it's American beer, so I mean, we can have a lot of beer.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's weird because someone was saying where it's $2 American beers, and I don't even think you can get a beer up here for less than $3 anywhere.
No.
Well, we can with American money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My first trip to Montreal in 2001, it was 57 cents to the dollar. So yeah, it was cheaper than drinking water here.
Holy cow.
Yeah, right now we're I think 75 cents, so it's not quite that bad, but it's still gonna be a hit.
But it would have been nice last week.
Yeah.
What's your next question, Paul?
Oh, and memories. I mean, we were discussing it earlier in the week, Mackie. Or like not necessarily a triumphant win, but like what's a memory, in the game of yours that really like stands out to this day?
in a game of mine, I remember there was one when we were playing the 6-man tag format. It was me, Brian, and Mike Anstead, who you've probably heard us mention before. And we were playing 3 Dark Tower guys. And one of the Dark Tower guys was Ric Flair. And being that it was Ric Flair, and when Ric Flair was really good, we're getting our ass kicked. Except this Ric Flair made the mistake of having a cow on ice in the deck.
Oh.
And the minute he played the cow on ice and we saw it and disqualified him, you could see it's like the scene from the Avengers when all the troops come marching over the hill, and it was like, attack!
Get him! He's out!
And we just shredded the hell out of the other 2 guys, and I can't remember anything else about it except for that one flare and that one mistake, and it just, the steamroll happened.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned another memory when we were talking, an interaction with Baron. We didn't get too much details, but can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, I've had a couple of trolly moments with Baron. I guess that's the best way to put it.
And then, sorry, but just for anyone who doesn't know, Baron, I can't pronounce his name, Vangertoth was one of the co-creators of Raw Deal. Vangertoth, he's no longer with us. He passed away just prior to the game, or just after the game was no longer created. So let's hear your trolling moments with him.
One of them was I was really pissed off about SS3 and the quote-unquote value pack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, by the way, the value packs came out about 6 days before the New York qualifier.
Oh, wow.
And they were legal for the tournament.
Oh.
So we were lucky. We got there first, and we pulled the rock one, so we had all the spine busters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we beat everybody to all the spine busters, and the 2 guys that wanted to play Batista were pissed, but oh well, screw them. And one of the things I did to irritate him was I paid the full $25 or $30 entry fee in ones.
Like you won the qualifier.
No, I didn't win the qualifier. I think that was the one Mike actually won.
Okay.
But I would always have little battling moments with him, kind of like that. The one really bad one we had was actually with Zev, not Barrett. Back when Zev was the rules guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an argument the week before because Mike had played Throw to an Inch of Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
And I played Spinaroonie in response. Back then, Throw was not a multi. And it just said could not be reversed in hand. Yeah. So the Spinaroonie basically told it to go to hell and I didn't have to do anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we argued, because me and Mike always argue, that's what we do. And we argued so much that he came up the next week in a neutral ground with Zev, and all of a sudden a week later, Throw Within an Inch of Your Life became a multi.
That's funny, that's one of those responsive rulings, because they had that with, what was it, with plunging. For the longest time it was one thing, and then it became where it affected the reversals instead. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, I remember when RMS became plungeable. And I understood it, and the logic made sense, but God, I hated it.
So let's go into the our card comparison segment. You wanted to discuss the classic maneuvers in virtual. Now, we're not the most familiar with them here. I mean, we've only recently discovered how great Classic Claw is.
There's a couple that are good in there. The Bulldog Lariat's good.
Mm-hmm.
The Elbow Smash is okay. I like it in Dusty because, well, it's thematic, and you can make it a high risk after another classic. And it's got a little bit of reverse restriction. It's, I think, D2 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on, I can sit here and type in Lackey.
I like that there are quite a few that are specific to superstars. Like there were a few slams, powers, and bombs that kind of help out NWO and A-Train, and then there are like a classic DDT for Jake the Snake and Tori, where it's not as specific, anyone can pack it, but they get a little bit of a bonus for doing so.
I mean, it was a cool idea, but for the most, I mean, when No Escape became less of a big deal, they kind of lost a little bit of their luster.
Yeah.
When No Escape, they were cool because you couldn't get them from Backlash, and you couldn't hybrid them. Well, you could do it once, it's restricted, but other than that, they were kind of semi-protected, almost usable moves, and now, aside from the Elbow Smash, the Claw, the Bulldog Lariat, and the good old kick to the nuts if you're healed. The classic knee is probably one of my favorite cards, just because it's easy to play, it's harder to stop because it's a 5 for 8 high risk,
Yeah.
And all you need to do is reverse something to play it.
Yeah, I like that. I played it in Fandango because it had knee in the title. So I'd play it like first turn as a counter. It'd be an 0 for 8 high risk. But you'd get reach every time, but it just goes under Summer A and you play it again next turn, so.
Wait, I'm losing you. Come back! Come
Stay
back!
with us.
Are you still there?
I'm here.
Alrighty.
Yeah, well, so I was saying with Fandango, it was an over 8 that you play every turn.
His Fandango story is being kept down like the real guy was in WWE.
Yeah. So I would throw with Fandango, it'd be an 0 for 8, and then if it wasn't successful, you put it under Summer A, and you could play it again next turn, so that was pretty neat.
Or even if they reached it, you played it again next turn anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
That's one of the things I liked about it.
One of the two other ones that interact with Big and Tough as any two men, there's like the classic double clothesline or something where...
Yeah, if you have Big and Tough and your opponent's a tag team...
Yeah. You get the reversal restriction.
Yeah, tag team or stable. It's nice. I should almost put that... No, it wouldn't help with Dusty. No, actually, yeah, the Big and Tough only makes it -5. If you have lower 4 and it's a tag or stable, you can do that on anybody. I should put that in Dusty.
Yeah, I like it. I just recently discovered it about 3 days ago.
They're a nice idea. I just wish they were a little... I don't want to say better, because they're just average.
Yeah.
Unless you're a WWF guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure it's tough playtesting those non-superstar specifics, because I remember Creed had posted something where it's like, okay, you want to make a new superstar specific, well, okay, we need to make sure it's even ground on everyone, where it can't be, really good in Jamie Noble, like he'll break the card, that kind of thing.
Like,
and then we're seeing like non-superstar specifics that are dominating the game, at least in our area, like backed by GM Vicky Guerrero. Drawing a blank's pretty annoying, so you have to. It's hard to find that balance, even with like maneuvers you're hoping to draw into in your arsenal.
It's funny how you mentioned those two builds, and they get eaten alive out here. Like when I was testing Jinder with the drawing a blank, even with the 0 for 8. Let's see, the first one got douchebag. The second one got restricted revo.
Yeah.
The third one got a specific reversal.
Mm-hmm.
And they for whatever reason, maybe it's just us, but those cards, the drawing a blank cards, just eat reversals like everything else.
Yeah. Especially like our meta's kind of shifted towards legends too, where they get those unique step aside, escape move, and break the hold.
Yeah.
And it kind of just shuts down drawing a blank as well. So.
Yeah. It also shuts down Vicky deck too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have D0s. Yeah.
Well, then you do a bash legend, and it's like, okay, come at me.
If you do a no-so legend bash deck, the Vicky guy might as well walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or just switcheroo the Vicky if they're not playing Finley, and you've cleared everything up.
Or worse, they walk into it and you remove it with broadcast.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to make Vicky decks just cries. It's almost a shame. It was good at first, but I guess since we caught up to it, it's like that fancy offense in football where it dominates for a season, then the defense is watched the film and we know how to stop that now.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the hockey playoffs right now. We don't have much football up here.
Yeah, I know, but there's no hockey analogy for it.
We don't have an NFL team up here. We just have the superior CFL.
You mean the one that had the Rock in it?
Yeah, and Roman Reigns.
You're trying to catch Roman. You would save us a lot of grief.
Oh, I don't want to have a Roman Reigns conversation right now.
Think about how much happier a person Roman Reigns would be if he was a star in the CFL.
This is the only place he'd be over.
God, just turn him heel.
Yeah.
So easy. That's a different podcast for that.
Yeah, but going back to the classic maneuvers, you had some specific ones you wanted to bring up because of your involvement with them.
That was it. I don't really want to mention because it's kind of spoilerific if I start talking about it.
already.
Oh, we're not asking you to spoil them.
What?
Oh, they're not released yet?
All the classics you've seen are the ones they are.
Yeah.
But the classics I've been using are in somebody in the new set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're okay. Well, let's talk about playtesting and not specific cards, but like the theory behind playtesting. Like, how long have you been a playtester for the virtual sets?
When the hell was it? I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago. It might be more. I just don't remember. Because even before I was officially in it, we had Brian who was in it, and he would show us this because he had to test against somebody. We saw his stuff and went against it with our regular deck.
Mm-hmm.
So even before we were in the playtesting, we were playtesting, and it just. So I can't even remember what it was. It just blurred. It was like after a Gen Con one year, I was able to see the forum.
Mm-hmm.
Playtesting itself, it's weird because you want two things. You want to play the deck as best as you can, but you also want to kick the tires on the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the two don't always go hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to look at somebody back from the last set. Like, okay, Braun is a perfect example of that. You look at Braun and you see stun value, and you're like, oh, I gotta run him volley. But then you also think, well, that's the obvious build for him. Let me see what happens if you don't run him volley. Is he only good as volley?
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to look for those things too. Is the obvious build's gonna work, but you gotta build it to make sure it works.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure there's something a little more to the guy than just the obvious build.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because that's what we've seen with Braun Strowman as well, where it's like the immediate focus is it was a volley deck with bikini contest and going for those stun value wins to keep drawing, to keep that hand built up. Not that you're losing much of a hand because you're not discarding anything for no sell and the other effects.
Plus, with his limitations, punch after punch is about as good of a kill card as he's going to get.
Mm. Unless you want to start...
He can't play heal cards, so he can't back by Bischoff. He can't Seeing Stars as a face card, or he can't play bash stuff. There's a lot of what he can't do also affects what makes you even lean more towards the volley build.
Yeah.
Mm.
So did you have any other builds that you play tested with him that you recall?
I tried the... Oh, what the heck was it? I tried Dynamic, but just Dynamic has its own issues in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And, it also hurt... Not having Dirty Low Blow in him actually hurt a lot. Wondering if I can go find the archive of him. Hey, there it is. See if I can mention anything else I said about him. Since I can actually talk about him, that actually worked out okay.
Yeah, he's been released, yeah.
Oh, that actually came up in the start. I won't say who said it, though. But somebody's like, say I play the bikini contest, giving me 4 stun, and then I Dirty Low Blow throwback, and eventually play backslide. Would I be allowed to win? My comment was, no, you played a heal card, you got disqualified.
Yeah, you're done.
Oh, there was one I did a lot with him, too. I did, precision kicks.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because you can't blank them. If you make them 8 damage, they can't become back under... You can't restrict it back to 6.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
So it's...
I ran him as a chain deck, too. I see that on here. I actually said that in there. Yes, obviously, Volley's going to be monster since he wants to bleed out, reach, grasp, and go to town.
Mm-hmm.
But the chain deck worked okay. It doesn't have a lot of stun in it, which kind of hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't need a lot with him because you're hitting 1 or 2 moves, and then it just becomes kind of gravy.
Yeah.
Well, any other kind of, or let's say not naming any superstars, but have you seen any drastic changes because of an initial ability or a card? It's like, okay, this is too game changing. Does it need to be rolled back a bit? Has there been any like big shockers like that where maybe the designers didn't see it?
A current one, since you guys know he's coming out, and I'm not going to say anything about his ability or anything, but Bo Dallas is all over the place.
Okay.
Trying to do too much with them, and there was too many places it could go, and it didn't work, and you'd almost need to put 85 cards in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's a perfect example of what you're talking about here. Is he's one of those guys, well, we're trying to do too much with him. We got to streamline this a little. Why don't we do this, this, and this instead, without giving anything away, and kind of chop him down into a place where he's a little more focused. He can still do what we want him to do, but he's not trying to do 50 million things at once.
Yeah,
Because
I find
the
that
one-
with like Seth Rollins or Mexicools, right, where they can play all the precisions, the technicals.
Yeah,
and you're trying
Seth
to
Rollins
do.
is one like that. Cesaro is one like that, where they bounce all over the place and there's a whole mess of different ways to build them.
Yeah,
One of these days, I do have to build a European style deck. That's one of the few builds I actually haven't run myself.
Because that makes the technical maneuvers essentially chain, right?
Yes, if you're behind in 42 to 2, if you're not, it's 1 to discard, and they are no longer setups.
Oh, okay. So you only get 3 of each of the zeros.
Yes. But you also get the European uppercuts as the perk, too.
Oh, yeah.
And your European uppercuts become zeros.
That's really good. Then they're 0 for 6s.
That's actually not bad. One of these days, I am going to make one of those. I always say I want to make William Regal, but he's got so many damn cards of his own, it's hard to build something else around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, William, he's a tricky one. He's a favorite of mine, but yeah, so many cards and a few different directions you can go with him. I think that's what I like about him, is that there are so many directions you can go with him. You can go fan favorite, you can go cheater, you can go Nux, you can go clutch apply. So many options with him.
But he's not one of those guys you can throw. Oh, I'm going to need about 15 or 20 of these cards in there to kick the tires with.
Yeah.
I always like the Great American Bash guys for stuff like that because they got their set and that was about it, and you could play with the rest of the deck at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dynamic Spirit Squad comes to mind.
Yeah, I have, I think, 11 or 12 copies of High Spirits because my goal was to build a deck that could legally pack a copy of High Spirits in it. Even, I wanted to build a Tornado Tag with Test. I know that's a bit of a taboo, but I still wanted to do it anyways just to get those extra 2 High Spirits in it.
Yeah,
I used to just call that card Whoa Bundy because it reminded me when the family would come in together and go, Whoa Bundy! Put the guy up in the air and look like that.
Yeah. That's a good card. I liked it.
High Spirits?
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad the picture was inaccurate.
Yeah.
I guess I lucked out with that. Mike was very much a completist, and I have his collection now. So I have 17 copies of High Spirits.
Yeah.
Well, are you talking about Mike Foley?
No, Ed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, he was one of our group out here until about 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So where do you live and play?
Roselle Park, New Jersey for now.
Gotcha.
I guess that we should have opened with one of that question.
Hey, who are you and where are you from? Yeah.
And where you're moving, you're moving to New York State, right?
No, I'm just moving 10 miles south.
Okay, and then, so that's not much of a commute for you to continue playing the game.
No. Considering I go to Allentown once a month, no. Allentown's about 75 miles from here.
Holy cow. But they have their own venue where Toronto never got one.
Don't ask me about that. Their venue sucks anyway. So that's okay.
Yeah. Well, with this podcast, maybe we'll finally get in the game.
Right? Damn. I said that specifically to bait them, and I realized this isn't going to air until after we go there.
We'll name the podcast Allentown Sucks for you.
Great idea.
we always struggle for podcast names, so yeah.
Well, we go with card titles, so Allentown Sucks isn't a card yet. So, hey, designers, if you want us to name the episode Allentown Sucks.
Well, I have designed cards on accident before. Oh, that's why I mentioned the classics. That's right. The classic Body Slam was actually an idea of mine that I came up with.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I'm sitting there on the old I'm watching the old matches in WWE Network, and for whatever reason, anytime anybody wanted a body to go up the top rope, they would take them in the middle of the ring, and they would hit the softest ass body slam on them, and tap them to the ground and lay them out so they could go to the top rope. And it gave me it was the whole idea behind the classic body slam. It's like, all right, I'm going to pick you up and drop you, but it's not going to hurt you, so I can set you up and do the top rope concept.
Yeah.
And what's the text on that card to allow for that high risk bonus?
It's if you reduce the damage to 0 on it. I'm going to the top of my head so I can look it up. Here we go. Yeah. When successfully played, you may reduce the damage to 0. If you do, search your arsenal from the top rope or from the middle, reveal it, and when you play it, your opponent can't respond to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like trash can, but for the top rope.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of trash can talking on Discord. They were trying to figure out how Triple H or DX could play that into sledgehammer shot.
I'd rather do it to maneuver a doom.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think of that. What about thrust kick?
Thrust kick. Take your time and like it, and I'll do nothing else.
So I think we're gonna wrap it up there, Mackie. Do you have any parting words for the viewers and listeners at home?
No, I think I'll leave it on Allentown Sucks.
Allentown Sucks.
Allentown sucks. All right, Scott. I'll catch up with you later on.
All right.
Thanks for
a lot,
being on the
guys.
show. Bye.
That was fun. That was a fun first attempt.
Fun first guest, yeah. Well, the technical difficulties you get around that, we figure out how to make it work, and hopefully I'm sure the audio will come through fine.
In worst case, we'll blame Allentown.
Yeah.
Clutch onto opponent and precision haymaker.
Yeah. What do you need those cards for? Alrighty, so that pretty well wraps up this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 17 of the Backlash podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Backlash Pod, and then download us on your iTunes or where else are we on?
Stitcher.
Stitcher, nice.
I'm
Anyway, you want to listen to audio?
I'm getting emails from another podcast provider. No, they automatically added us to it, and then they're giving me updates, which is cool.
Do they pay us, or do we have to pay them?
They just
yeah.
hey, because you have downloads, we've added you to our library.
Cool, yeah.
And they just give me infrequent emails. It's like, hey, you have 2 downloads through us.
Yeah, whatever program it is, yeah. Okay, cool. Alrighty, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.